So Disney World is celebrating its 50th anniversary. I hate to brag, but I've been about 16 or 17 times. So I'm going to show you my favourite bits of Disney World. Should have been round it. Oh well. Not done this all week. Hi guys, Villainous Prince here. Now it's true what they say. Once you've found your perfect place to take your holiday or vacation, if you are American, you don't want to go anywhere else. And it's the same for me. Once I've found Disney World, I don't want to go anywhere else. So in this video, I'm just going to show you some of my favourite bits of Disney World and my not so favourite bits, because there is a few. Now, the perfect place to start off with is my favourite part of Disney World, and that is Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now, the very first time I went to Disney World with the family, it was actually called Disney's MGM Studios. And since then, it has changed a lot. There's brand new lands, including Toy Story Land, and you've obviously got Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And with that, there's so much to do and see in this park. You've got the amazing thrill rides, such as Tower of Terror. You have got the Rock and Roller Coaster. You have got Slinky the Dog, Toy Story Mania, the shooting game in Toy Story Land. You have got Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which I've not been on yet. And in Star Wars Land, you've got... Star Wars Land, what am I talking about? Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, I mean. You've got the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which I wasn't too keen on. I think you have to be in a certain ride position, because I was an engineer, so I didn't quite get much of that ride. I think you have to be a pilot to enjoy that ride fully. And I've not been on Rise of the Resistance yet, because they didn't start the boarding groups when I last went there, and the ride queue length was too much. And you've got the different shows, such as Little Mermaid. You have got Beauty and the Beast stage show, and you've got the nighttime spectacular Fantasmic, where Mickey Mouse goes up against some classic Disney villains. And me loving the Disney villains, of course I love Fantasmic. So I'll never get bored of this theme park. I love it. And oh yeah, there's also great nighttime spectaculars. We've had celebration of the movies. We've had a celebration of Star Wars. It's just something. I'm actually in love with this theme park. So if I have to pick one part of Disney World which is my least favourite, it would have to be Epcot. Now, to me, there's not a lot here that keeps me from the start of the day to the very end of the day. If I start my day off in Epcot, I will be in another part of Disney World, such as Magic Kingdom or Showcase, and we are getting brand new stuff such as the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. We are getting the Restaurant Space 220, and of course the Ratatouille ride in the France World Showcase. But I have been on the Ratatouille ride in Disneyland Paris, so I'm not too excited for that one, because I presume it's going to be exactly the same ride. And then we've got a brand new show, because Illuminations Reflections of Earth, which has been in Epcot from the very first time I've been to Disney World, has actually finally finished, and it's going to be a new nighttime show. So there is all that. But my experience of Epcot has improved due to the fact that one of my friends, Lucy, did introduce me to the Food and Wine Festival. Now, Disney World for me is not a place where you get drunk or get tipsy, but this festival is a bit different. Going around the world showcase and experiencing different drinks, different foods from different parts of the world is enjoyable, and you do get a bit tipsy. And there has been times where I was a bit drunk in Epcot, but it adds to the experience because that's what you're actually there for. You don't go to Magic Kingdom to get drunk, but at the Food and Wine Festival, you do really. So yeah, Epcot is growing on me slightly. So I don't just have one favourite ride at Disney, I have three. So let's go first to Hollywood Studios. And the first favourite ride of mine is the Twilight Zone's Tower of Terror at the end of Hollywood Boulevard. So the very first time I went on this ride, it dropped you the once, and it had the lap bars that came down and secured you in place, but there was always one person that got the seatbelt. But thankfully, everybody gets the seatbelt now, which makes this ride so much more excitable because you can't actually leave your seat because the way it drops you. Second time winning this ride, it dropped you twice, but now it drops you randomly. So every single time you go on this ride, it's different. The screaming, the laughter that everybody has on this ride, it is such great fun to me. I love this type of ride. And what adds to it is the atmosphere and, of course, the cast members, should I say. And this must be the only time in Disney World that you can actually say certain things to the guests and get away with it because you are playing a character. I'm not saying they are completely rude, but they are being slightly meaner than other cast members, but that's because they are playing a role and it adds to the experience. So one of my all-time memories of this ride is that I must have been next to a woman who had never ridden this before. She had her handbag on her lap. We came to the part of the ride where it was actually going to either take you up or drop you. Her handbag was on her lap, and as soon as it dropped, everything flew out. I have never laughed so much in my life. So over to Magic Kingdom now for another favourite ride of mine, and it's a ride you will get wet on, and that is Splash Mountain. I have lost track of how many times I've been on this ride, and I've never been bored of it. It's been one of my all-time favourite rides since the very first time I've been to Disney World, and like I said, never been bored of it. I am kind of disappointed it is actually getting rebranded to The Princess and the Frog, because that is not one of my favourite Disney classic films. I don't like jazz music, so I don't know if Splash Mountain will actually remain as one of my all-time favourite rides when it gets rebranded. But the one thing is, why do people wear ponchos on a water ride? Finally, over to Animal Kingdom for a no-brainer, it's Everest. This is an amazing roller coaster. I remember the first time I was some of those damn Everest, I had no clue what was going to happen next. And the very first time I went back, I screamed my lungs off. And now I still scream, I still laugh at everybody else screaming. It is great. And this is a ride I do not mind waiting in a queue of 60 minutes plus, because if I'm at Animal Kingdom, this has got to be my number one thing to do within this theme park. And how can you forget about Disco Yeti? So my least favourite ride at Disney World. Now, I have given these rides the benefit of the doubt by going on them numerous times, because when you go to Disney World with different people, they want to experience it just like you did your first time, so you go on everything with them. So there is one that stands out as my least favourite ride at Disney World, but there's another one that's coming close. Now, I've only been on this ride twice, and that is in Animal Kingdom's World of Pandora, the River Expedition. I just found it boring. I'm not an Avatar fan. Maybe that's what ruined it for me. But the animatronic at the end is pretty cool. But if you do have bad luck and it's not working, you just get the screen, which did happen on the second time we went on it. It's just boring, really. Just boring. But there is one I think that's even worse than that, and that I just don't get the whole popularity of the ride. I've seen queues about 80 minutes, 90 minutes long for this. The longest I've waited for this is 60 minutes. And that is in Epcot, and that is soaring. I just don't get it. You just basically sitting down, getting raised up, having wind blowing at you. Okay, gives you the feeling of flying in a hang glider. But if it wasn't for the video that they show, going from 1 minute you're in the desert to the next minute you're in the jungle to the next minute you're in the Antarctic chasing a polar bear, it just takes you out of it a bit. I'm just sat there thinking, when is this going to be over? Because I want to get to something more exciting than this. Best parade. Now, people say that the Festival of Fantasy parade that happened in the Magic Kingdom, which has just closed due to the 50th anniversary, was the best parade going. But if you actually went to the 25th anniversary and saw the infamous Birthday Cake Castle, you would have been treated to another type of parade, which had the same kind of a problem as a certain ride. Remember the magic, remember the magic. See, it does stick with you. Yes, I'm talking about the Remember the Magic parade. Yes, you had the popular characters of 25 years ago going down Main Street with this song on loop and doing the dance routine that went with the song. So when you've actually got a memory like that stuck in your head, it's not a bad thing really, because I still actually sing the song from time to time now, and I still look at the videos that I've actually got on old VHS tape. Yes, so to me, that parade beats the Festival of Fantasy parade hands down. Now, I said that Everest was my number one thing to do within the animal kingdom. Well, meeting these two fabulous girls is my number one thing to do whenever I'm in Disney World. I love the Disney villains, and I love and adore Drizella and Anastasia. This is highly recommended to meet these two characters if you ever see them out by Cinderella's castle. The one thing that I miss still to this day is in Magic Kingdom. It's a type of ride that I love. It had me in stitches laughing. There's a big clue. It's Stitch's Great Escape, or as it was known beforehand, Alien Encounter. So this had you going into a circular room, and in the middle you had a great big pod which had Stitch in it or the alien, and then the light would go off, and then you hear glass smashing, and then it would simulate actually Stitch or the alien pressing down on your shoulders, jumping on your seat, licking or hissing at your neck. It was hilarious hearing all the screaming. There was one time we actually went with my family, and my sister came out of that ride in tears. She was that scared, and to me, I was in tears laughing. Yes, that is a ride that I love, and to me, I can see why Disney got rid of it, but I will always miss that ride. So there's my highs and lows of Disney World. I had to do something special for Disney World's 50th anniversary. What do you reckon of the video? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, can someone please tell me how to actually drive these cars in Tomorrowland Speedway? Look at me, I'm all over the place, and the two cars in front are being driven by children, and they are driving in the boundaries, and I'm all over the place like I am drunk. No matter how many times I've actually been on this ride, I cannot control these vehicles. So please, someone help.